everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today for September's Roll of Reads. So if you are watching Roll of Reads for the first time, this is the monthly TBR game that I play to help me decide what I'm going to read every single month. So I start out with my game board. It has 20 places on the game board, and then I have a bunch of cards, shuffle the cards and place 20 cards out on the board. Then I take usually a 12-sided dice to determine how many rolls I'll have to do, and then I use a d20 to decide which prompts I need to pick, so which cards I pick, and then the cards have prompts on them, and that is how I decide my TBR. I thought that I should probably go through and quickly explain all of that because there's been quite a few new people subscribed to my channel in the last month, so thank you so much to all those new people, and of course thank you so much to everyone who's been around for a while. All of your support is really appreciated, so again thank you all so much, and yeah, I hope that you're all enjoying Roll of Reads. The playlist for all of the previous iterations of the game will be linked in the description below and in the eye up above, so you can go and check all of that out. Now, another thing that will be linked in the description below and in the eye up above will be Becca's Bookopoly TBR. So for September we're doing things slightly differently because it is Becca's Bookopoly. For anyone that doesn't know what that is, where have you been? But no, seriously, it is a readathon that has been created by Becca from Becca in the Books. I will link her channel in the description below as well as her announcement video, so you can go and check all of that out if you would like to join in. It's a month-long readathon and it's based on her TBR game, which is inspired by Monopoly, so it's Bookopoly. So I have already done that game and that has decided half my TBR, and then today I'm going to do my TBR game, Roll of Reads, so that I can decide what I'll be reading the other half of my TBR. Also, I do have a bunch of books from last month that I need to talk you through, let you know how I went. Now, that leads me to the next little bit of things I need to explain for anyone who's new, but also for anyone who is not new. I've actually made a few changes. Again, I'm constantly changing the way that this gameplay works, but I'm really hoping this one will be just an added extra fun thing. So this was actually Rowan's idea, and he basically was like, well, every time you don't read a book from the previous month, you add another roll, you're just going to make it ridiculous and impossible to achieve, which of course was absolutely correct. Kind of knew that already, but I was hoping that maybe rolling 12-sided dice, you know, I might get a 1 every once in a while, but it never seemed to occur. So I have come up with a new way of doing things. So any books that I don't read from the previous month, instead of that automatically adding a roll, what that does, it adds punishment cards instead. So for each book that I don't read, I have to make sure that I include in the game punishment cards as well as non-punishment cards. So punishment cards I have created, and they are now basically exactly the same, but they have red writing rather than purple writing, which is what we have for the non-punishment cards. So each month I will take out the number of books that I have not started. By started, I have to have read more than the first page, first chapter at least, and that will go on the board, and then obviously the rest will be filled in by non-punishment cards. The other thing I've also changed is that I have added some non-reading specific prompts. So I was watching Maddie from Book Browsing Blog's most recent TBR game, which she does Dart Attack, and I will link her channel in the description below so you can go and check that out. And she had added a bunch of non-reading prompts, so they're still kind of bookish or booktube-ish, but they're not necessarily reading, and I thought that sounded like it could be really fun, just adds that extra dimension to the game. So that's what I have done as well. The next thing I need to do is let you know how I went with last month's TBR, and then what do I need to tell you? I need to tell you about some buddy reads that I'll be doing that I need to incorporate hopefully, and then we will play the game. So let's go through now and talk about last month's TBR. Here is a photo of me looking very upset by last month's TBR because, as you can see, I had a lot of books. I had 17 books that I had to read. As you can imagine, I did not get through 17 books. It is the 27th today, so it's Friday the 27th. This video will go up tomorrow on the 28th, and of course that means I have a few days left before the end of August, so I have a little bit of time to hopefully complete another couple of books. We'll see how we go, but anyway, I'm assuming that I will end up with quite a few punishments. So let's go through and look at the books now. For August, the first roll that I got was Library Book, and I chose Akane by Lynette Noni, and I haven't read this one. Then I got Neurodivergent, and for that I chose The Kiss Quotient, and I did read that one. Third roll, I got Book Into Film Club, so that is my in real life book club that I run where we read a book, I should say, and then we watch an adaptation of the book. This month's choice was The Girl on the Train, and yes, I did read that one. Roll number 4, and the prompt was Disability Representation, and for this one I chose to read Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmerer, and I did read that one. For roll number 5, I got a borrowed book, so this could be a borrowed from the library or borrowed from someone in my life, and I chose Dawn by Octavia Butler, which was borrowed from my flatmate. However, I did not read this one. The next prompt that I got was to read a book with one word as the title, and for this one I chose Sorcery by Terry Pratchett, and I did read this one. Then I got the prompt to read a book with a pretty cover, and for this one I chose The Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerry Maniscalco, and I didn't read this one. Then I got the prompt to read a favourite author's first book, and for this one I chose Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, and as you can see I have read the first tiny little bit of it. I do think that I'll probably end up finishing this by the end of the month, but if not, I have at least started it and I've read the first 9 chapters, so this won't be a punishment. The next prompt I got was to read a book with plus size representation, and for this one I chose to read Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and I did not read this one. Then I got a colour wheel pick, and the colour was blue, so I chose to read A Torch Against the Night by Sabah Tahir, and I did read this one. Then I got a gift or from a subscription box, and for this one I chose Am I Normal Yet by Holly Bourne. This was sent to me by Ellie from Elgro Books, so thank you Ellie, and I did read this one. Then I got New York Times best-selling author, and for this one I chose to read Reaper at the Gates by Sabah Tahir, and I haven't read this one. Then I got a book over 500 pages long, and for this one I chose The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, and I did read this one. And then the next prompt that I got was Set in Another World, and for this one I chose A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer, and I did read this one. The next prompt that I got was A Friend Picks, and Ellie from Elgro Books chose for me The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Ni Vo, and I did read this one. Then I got the prompt The Last to Read book club, which is mine and Ellie and Lana's book club, and the book for that is Every Breath by Ellie Marnie. I haven't read this one yet, but I will definitely read it by the end of the month. So like I said, I've got a few days left, and it's not super long. It's young adult, and I think that I'm going to fly through it quite quickly. So definitely will have read this one by the end of the month. And then finally I got subscriber's choice, so I chose a few different books, and you guys said that you would like to see me read A Mile Unbound by Aisha Saeed. Unfortunately, I have not read this one. Okay, so now I just want to run through quickly the buddy reads or the book club reads that I would like to do this month as well. So obviously I have my book club that I run, like I said, with Ellie and Lana, and that is the Last to Read book club. All of the information for that is listed in the description below, as well as my announcement video, which will be in the eye also. If you want to go and find out more information about that, then obviously please do, we'd love to have you. So this month in September, the next book we'll be reading is Every Word by Ellie Marnie. That's the second book in the Every series, the first one being Every Breath. So that is a book that I have to prioritize in September. Then I am doing a buddy read with Kat from Brews and Reviews. We are buddy reading Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This one I actually managed to fit into Becca's Bookopoly, so if I don't manage to fit it into this game, that's fine because it's already accounted for on a TBR, on half a TBR, so that one is fine. Then Ellie and I are reading Terry Pratchett together, so the next book that we have to read is Weird Sisters, and this one again was also included in my Becca's Bookopoly, so I'm not worried about whether or not I get to fit that into this one. Hope I might be able to, but it's already accounted for, so I'm not too concerned about that. Then I am buddy reading with my good friend Michelle, who you've seen on my channel a few times now, Earthlings by Sayaka Murata, so I do need to try and fit that in if I possibly can. Then we have The Wheel of Time Read Along, which is currently being run by Cece from Cece's Reading Journey, Anna from, I'm so sorry Anna, I can't remember the name of your channel, but I'll put it in the title so that you can see, and another person who, again, I can't remember their details, but her name is Melissa, but I will put that in the titles as well, so you can go and check that out if you're interested in joining the World of Time read along, Wheel of Time even read along. And the next book for that is The Great Hunt, so I am hoping to fit that in as well. It's quite a chunky book, so it'd be good for it not to be an addition on top of a TBR, but yeah, I'd really like to include that as well. Then Helen from Helen's Bookhaven is running a Eurovision-a-thon read-along book club. So every year around the time of Eurovision, she runs the Eurovision-a-thon, which is a month-long readathon, and the idea is that we read a book for every single country that is in the Eurovision Song Contest. But then she also decided to do a book club where we read a book from each country every single month. So this month in September it is Switzerland, and the book for that is The Sanatorium, and I would really like to be able to include that one as well, so hopefully I can do that. And then finally there is a read-along of the Lord of the Rings series happening, and it is being hosted by Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany. Her channel, obviously all these channels are linked to the description below, and she very kindly invited me to be on the live show for that one. So I would like to try and do a reread of The Fellowship of the Ring, which is the first book in the trilogy. I have read this one multiple times though, so if I don't get to it then I should still be fine for the live show. I'm not too concerned about that, but it would be good to do a reread because it's been quite a while. So that's all the buddy reads and read-alongs and book clubs etc. that I need to try and get to this month as well. So I will now go through and get 6 punishments out of the deck, and then that will mean that I have 11 non-punishment cards to get out of the deck as well. So I'll do all that, set the board up and everything, and then we can start the game. So obviously it being more of a chance that I might not get the punishment cards, even though they're obviously all included, every time I pick up a punishment card I'll replace that with another punishment card just to make it a bit more fair. We still do have the rules whereby if I roll a 1 then I have to add another roll. If I roll the same number 3 times I have to add another roll. If I roll a 20 then I can basically do what I want. So a final thing that I need to let you know before I start the game is that because I already have Becca's Bookopoly taking up half my TBR, normally I roll a d12 to determine how many rolls I'll have to do, but this time I'm going to roll a d6. Okay, so we're all set up, so let's go and roll our d6 and see what we end up with. Alright, up. Here comes Peanut to help. Thanks, Peanut. 6, of course. And of course, I got a 6. So 6 rolls. So that means all up, potentially I will have 12, or of course I could have more depending on how these rolls go. So let's hope it goes okay. And let's do roll number 1. All right, so we've got our punishments in there. Let's see what happens. 6 rolls. Roll number 1. Number 8. All right. And we have our first punishment card. So we have least favourite colour on the cover. Alright, so first roll we got the number 8 and that was our first punishment card. So for this one it is least favourite colour on the cover, which works out perfectly because it turns out that the new covers of the Wheel of Time series for The Great Hunt, it has this kind of pea greeny kind of colour, which isn't a favourite colour of mine. So yeah, first off the rank we have The Great Hunt, which is perfect because like I said before, I do not want to try and add that as an extra thing on top of a TBR. So we're off to a good start. Alright, roll number 2. If you can hear the strange little noises going on in the background, that's just Peanut talking to the birds outside. 17. Neurodivergent. Roll number 2, I got 17, which gave me the card Neurodivergent Representation. That is the second time that I have got that card recently, so if I get that again next time, then I get to buy a book. But anyway, this works out really, really well because one of my buddy reads Earthlings by Sayaka Murata, which is here on the screen. I will probably end up borrowing that from the library. I don't currently own it. I believe, as far as I know, that the main character is on the autism spectrum. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, that is just going off what I believe I know about the book. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe that it will fit in with neurodivergent rep. So I'm excited to read Earthlings by Sayaka Murata with Michelle. Third roll. 13. Oh, okay. Dictionary word of the day. Interesting. Okay, so roll number 3, I got 13, which led me to the prompt Dictionary word of the day. So I got this prompt off Darian from Darian... Gosh, what is her channel name? I believe it's Darian Reads Books. I will link her channel in the description below as well, so you can go and check out her channel. But yes, I saw that she had this as a prompt in her TBR game, and I thought that sounded like a really, really fun prompt. Basically what happens is I will go into my dictionary app and I will see what their word of the day is, and then from there I will pick a book that I think suits that word of the day. So we could be in for a very interesting situation, but let's see what we have. I'm going to screen record so you guys can see what we end up with. Alright. Here we go. Okay, so word of the day is Xanadu. So the first thing that makes me think of is the, I don't know if it's late 70s, early 80s movie with Olivia Newton-John in it called Xanadu. But don't imagine that really is the description or the definition. So let's have a look at definitions and examples. Okay, so a place of great beauty, luxury and contentment. A place of great beauty, luxury and contentment. I know what I'm going to do. I am going to count Lord of the Rings for that one because I've read this book as a child. This was read to me as a child. I grew up with this book, and one of my favourite places or peoples or things were the elves and Rivendell, and when I was a kid, a place of great luxury and contentment, place that I would want to be was Rivendell or Lothlorien. So I think that counts because we go to both those places in this one. I think that fits. That's what I'm going to do. Very sneaky, I think, but it works. So thank you, Dictionary of the Word of the Day. Honestly, did not know what I was going to get, but I got away with it, so yay. Alright, let's do the next roll and see what else happens. Fourth roll. 13. Oop. An audiobook. Okay. Okay, so I got a 13. That led me to audiobook. So I have a few choices for this one. I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to do To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han or whether I'm going to do The Raven King by Nora Sakabic. Now the reason why I'm not certain is because for the Because We Can Readathon, the group book is To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and one of the prompts for that is also to listen to an audiobook or read an ebook. So I could definitely fit that in for that one. However, I'm not 100% sure whether I'm really that interested in reading that book. I really wasn't interested at all, and then it came up as the group book and I kind of thought, oh, maybe I could do that, but I'm not certain. It will depend on how I'm going with that week, how much work I get, how much other stuff I have going on, as to whether or not I manage to fit an extra book in, because I do have an option of listening to one of the other books that I'm going to be reading for that week as an audiobook. There will be another TBR, yet another TBR coming up for the Because We Can Readathon and Magical Reads, so you'll be able to find out more about that then. But yeah, so it'll either be one of those two books for audiobooks, so we'll just see what happens. And obviously next month when we do the game again, you'll find out which one I ended up going with. Okay, so let's do roll number 5. Alright, that is a number 12. Oh, okay. Oh, this will be interesting. The cats don't pick. And for roll number 5, I got Cats Don't Pick, which is another punishment roll. A punishment card, I should say. The way this is going to work is, I'm sure you've all seen various different people do this where they have a book or 2 or 3, well, more than one book, obviously, a few books, and they put some treats out and a pet comes along, and whichever one they go to first and eat the treat off of first is the book that they will go and read. I'm going to do it the other way around because this is the punishment, so it's the cats don't pick. So in my non-punishment cards I have cats do pick, so this is the opposite of that. Let's do that now. Yeah, you gotta come down and get it. Come on, Peanut, come and get it. Come on. What's she gonna pick? Come on. Which book? Which book? Oh, oh. Okay. That's definitely Laura. And since it's cats don't pick, I'm reading Ariadne. So there you go. Okay, and as you guys just saw, the book that Peanut ended up not choosing was Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. So I don't know a huge amount about this one. I know that it is about Ariadne, who is a woman in Greek mythology. So she was the woman who was the daughter of the king of Crete, and Theseus used her to get out of the labyrinth, kill the Minotaur, and then this is a story based on her story. So it looks really awesome. I love the cover. It sounds really fantastic. I love Ariadne as a character. I've always really enjoyed myths surrounding Ariadne. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. So thank you, Peanut, for not choosing Ariadne for me. It's a 6. Oh, I forgot to replace, but that's okay because it was a 6. We'll put it there anyway just for continuity. An award winner. Okay. And finally, I rolled number 6, so thank goodness we didn't end up rolling a 1, and we didn't end up rolling the same number more than 3 times. So that means that I don't have to add any extra rolls, which is fantastic. And for this one, I got an award winner. So for this one, I was really hoping that I would get something that would allow me to include Every Word by Elimani, because as you guys know, this is the next book club pick for the Last to Read book club. And it turns out that this book actually did win an award, so that means that I do get to include it, which is fantastic. It took a little bit of researching, but I managed to get there. Got it on the computer here. Every Word won the Davitt Awards, it says, the Davitt Awards celebrate the year's best crime books by Australian women. Elimani's book Every Word, the second instalment of her Every series, won the best young adult novel. So it won an award, so that means I get to include it, which is fantastic. So just to reiterate all of the books that I will be reading throughout the month of September, which is this TBR and then also Becca's Bookopoly TBR. For Roll of Reads, for least favourite colour on the cover, I will be reading The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. For neurodivergent representation, I will be reading Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. For dictionary word of the day, which is Xanadu, today on the day I'm filming, I will be reading The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. For audiobook, I will either be reading To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han or The Raven King by Nora Sakovic, which is the second book in Foxhole Court series. For Cats Don't Pick, I will be reading Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, and for award winner, I will be reading Every Word by Ellie Marnie. Then Becca's Bookopoly Rolls, I got a chance card, and the book for that was No Friend But the Mountain by Beiruz Bukhani. Then I got Community Shelf, and the prompt that I wrote out for that one that I ended up getting was to read a modern classic. And for this, I will be reading Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. Then I got Cute, and for this one, I'll be reading Weird Sisters by Terry Pratchett. Then I got Steal, and I stole off It's a Me Jennifer. I stole Legendborn by Tracy Dion from her, so I'll be reading Legendborn. And then finally, I got LGBTQIA+ representation, and for this one, I'll be reading The Miseducation of Cameron Post. So those are all the books on my TBR for September at the moment. As I mentioned before, the Because We Can Readathon is coming up in September as well. That is the second week of September. I am definitely going to be doing that one, so I will be filming a video and that will go up on Wednesday the 1st, I think, where I talk through the Because We Can Readathon and also the Magical Reads TBR. So all of the books that I have talked about is going to go towards the TBRs for those readathons that are happening in September as well. So that's it. That's everything, I think. I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm pretty sure I haven't missing I haven't missed anything. I'm pretty sure I've talked about everything I need to talk about. So yeah. Comment below if you have read any of these books, if you're going to read any of these books. Let me know if you're going in Becca's Bookopoly or any of the other readathons I talked about, because I'd love to know those things as well. If you'd like to leave a comment but you don't know what, then please leave me a dice emoji or a stack of books emoji, because both of those kind of fit for what we're doing today. All of my social media details are in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you all so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.